Hello, beautifuls. I am quite sure that this video is going to be a lot louder than the last video, and I am apologizing for the last video. I recorded that video on a whim, and because I recorded on a whim, I didn't have my big mic, and it was kind of low. But anyhow, this video should be louder, and you should be able to hear me. So I hope you all are well. I hope you had a beautiful Christmas, and you are planning for a grand New Year. In the description box is going to be a link for you to join my Patreon, although the formal opening, the video that I'm going to make to open the Patreon is going to be tomorrow. But there's going to be a link in this video for you to join my Patreon, in which, you can be in closer community with me. So finally, I am here, ladies, to record my acceptance video. If you did not know, and I think I will make a tab where, like, how YouTube creators, they put their, like, a series, they will put it all in one tab. I'm going to do that for this series now that I'm finally making the close of it. And then other times when I make topics relating to our grieving and how we are just not and how we are just not grieving, I will add it to that playlist. So anyhow, this is my acceptance video. And I began to make this series, and it's been almost 9 months now since I made it. 9 is a good number. But anyhow, I made the grief series because as I was, scouring the internet, looking for a community with Black women, I just realized that we were not grieving. I realized that, first of all, we were grieving, right? We were having we were feeling this loss of what I condensed, but it's so much more than that. But what I condensed down to, the loss of the, quote, nuclear family with Black males, the loss of community with a Black collective, and then even the loss of sisterhood with Black women, is what I, minimized it too. But it's a huge loss for us. And it's why it has taken me so long to get to this acceptance video, because how do we accept the unfathomable? Like, how in the hell do we accept this? And I felt like when I made the video, I needed to have some, as all the rest of the videos that I have made, I tried to offer some ways to get over these humps, right? So I offer some ways to get over the denial, to get past the anger and bargaining, to get through the depression. But when it comes to the acceptance, it was just like, this is a lot to accept. This is a lot for a woman to accept. But it's essential to our progress as a collective. It's essential to our progress in our living a life worthwhile as individual Black women. Like, we have to accept that this is where we are, and we have to begin to live with this new realization that this is how we exist, right? So our struggle, my own self, was accepting with accepting some things, although it has become easier, I realize, especially with this Simone Biles situation, which I'm going to touch on briefly, and but I realized that it was a lot more easier for me to accept Simone Biles' decision to be a nigga's lapdog. Okay, it's been much more easier for me to accept that than it would have been the beginning of the year, where it was just not something I could accept. I'd have been, fighting skin and teeth for Simone Biles to get it, and then here she is on the internet liking niggas' comments saying that we miserable and bitter, right? And Simone Biles is a maiden, right? She's like 26 years old. So I'm just like, anyhow, it's taken me so long because I've not accepted some things. And it's hard for me personally to accept some things, especially when it comes to Black women. Specifically for me when it comes to Black women. Like, these niggas and how they behave and how they act and how they are is completely acceptable to me. Like, I understand that is just who they are. I understand that the black community is just what it is, and it's nothing that we can do about it. We can't fix it. We cannot guilt these niggas into acting right. We cannot, it's nothing that we can do for the black community as black women. We really just have to take our L and go. We have to leave the black community and just go. We have to leave the niggas and just go. But the hardest thing for me to accept has been the loss of sisterhood, the loss of women, and just letting them, choose their own fate. And it sounds a lot more easier when I'm saying it, but when I have to actually do it, it's been hard for me to accept that this is how black women want to live. That, like, this is a decision that black women are making. So I'll touch on Simone Biles. And one of the things that I watched, look, I understand how we feel about certain content creators. And I just want to say that I understand how we feel about them, but I watch them, right? I watch them, and I'm able to, watch content that other black women may not want to watch. And, I don't watch manosphere, right? But, certain ladies in this community, this BWE community, I watch them all now. I'm watching them all. And I watched DZ's live when she talked about Simone Biles. And one of the things that she said that really resonated with me, that I just knew was true, because I'm a black woman. I'm a black woman who grew up in Blackistan. As you ladies know, I grew up in Baltimore. I've been immersed in black culture. I'm not a black woman who, you'll never hear me say, oh, I never liked black people shit. I never listened to hip hop. I never listened to R&B. I still listen to R&B. I still go to R&B concerts, certain R&B concerts. I just now went to SZA concert a couple months ago. I went to Anita Baker concert. Like, I am a black woman who enjoys some of black culture, right? And because I've been immersed in black American culture, I know the black community very intimately. So one of the things that DZ said, and it would take someone else that knows the black community very, intimately to say something like this. And she said it, and it resonated with me. She said that Simone Biles was a beautiful woman, but she's Blackistan ugly. Right? And it's true. I know it sounded harsh. I know that, we all think that DZ is harsh, and we all think that, including myself, I think that DZ is harsh, right? We all think that DZ is harsh, and we all think that she, comes off a little bit too rough for all black women to hear what she has to say. And I'd like to think that how I talk to black women and how I communicate with black women, and even how I'm in community with black women, is a lot more gentler than DZ. Because when I'm talking to black women, it's no shade to DZ, and it's no shade to anyone, because I realize that, most BWE content creators don't have daughters, black daughters, right? So when I'm talking to the collective of black women, I'm literally considering my own daughter, and will she be able to hear what I have to say? So when she says that Simone Biles is a beautiful woman, which I totally agree, and then when she says that she is not Blackistan beautiful, like she's not the standard of beauty in Blackistan, I know that to be true, even in having a dark-skinned daughter. And I don't, I've had all of my lessons on colorism, right? And in having a daughter that's dark-skinned, and I would consider Simone Biles darker, right? But in having a dark-skinned black daughter, I have talked to her about it, and I told her that, of course she's a dark-skinned black woman, and black males got their issues with dark-skinned black women, but my daughter is she would be considered Blackistan pretty, like, the pretty for a dark skinned girl, black girl, right? And Blackistan. Simone Biles, however, is not. She's not. She doesn't have the phenotype that Blackistan cherishes. Although wide, beautiful smiles, beautiful teeth, beautiful bone structure is something that's universally beautiful. And Blackistan, her look is not something that is cherished, right? It's not something that people, the black community, that Blackistan looks at, and especially niggas. Listen, I don't know if y'all ever been in Blackistan, but I've been in Blackistan and I've grown up there, and I know that a Simone Biles is not considered pretty in Blackistan. Like, she's not considered a pretty girl in Blackistan, even on the darker end, on the darker skin tone level of pretty. Like, she's still not considered pretty. It's not because she's dark skinned, it's because of how she looked. They don't find her attractive. And so as I watched this whole debacle with her, first of all, I watched the interview in which the guys, or the niggas, you know, whatever, they asked the husband, you know, his thoughts, and you can see the faces of these niggas, like, what? Like, they were even confused. Like, is this nigga serious? And then here's Simone go, cheesing and smiling, grinning, looking like a fucking fool, supporting him, and then supporting him and what he said, and then not even just supporting him, but also backing it up. She went on to say, in 10 years, they're not going to be knowing him as Simone Biles' husband. They're going to be knowing me as whatever the nigga name is. Like, we don't even know this nigga name. Whatever his name is, wife. And I'm just like, what? And not only am I like, what, but like the whole, anybody that saw that interview is like, what? And that includes Caucasian people. That includes anyone who saw that video. That includes niggas, like regular niggas. Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, the fact that she backed it up, and then, all right, let's just say she dumb. Like, she's just a stupid maiden who don't know no better. And I could take that. I could be like, okay, Simone just a dumb maiden. You know, she thinks that being married is the, you know, they tell us that we can't get married, and, you know, they quote withhold marriage from us so that we can't get married, and, you know, as a result, this is how we exist. And, you know, she did the unthinkable. She's a black woman that got married, unlike everybody else, right? So she, you know, I could excuse that. I could just be like, all right, she's just dumb. All right, she's just young and dumb. All right. But the fact that she was on, was it Twitter? Where the fuck was it? I don't know. But she was in the internet liking the comments and hearting the comments of niggas saying that black women was bitter. Simone Biles is an L that we just had to take and go. Like, we have to take the Simone Biles as an L, and we just have to go. We have to just leave them where they are. And this kind of acceptance has been a struggle for me to get here. I'm telling you, like, it's like, what? To know that black women are choosing, like, really choose, like, after we give them all the signs, this is what's happening, and black women in uproar on the internet trying to get Simone Biles to see what we know, and for her to just be like, fuck y'all bitches. At some level, those black women have to be an L that we have to take and just go. And for me, those women are considered what we call pick-me's, right? And I consider pick-me's, quote, pick-me's, more dangerous than what we call mammies, right? Because a mammy is an assignment that you're given in Blackistan, and you get a little bit of accolades for it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get a little pat on the back. You're a little mammy. You know, you're a little young mammy, and you fighting for the rights of the black collective, or, you know, you think it's the black community. For me, in my mind, and where I've been in life, I can kind of identify with that. Like, you are a black woman, a self-loving black woman to some extent. Of course, if you're young, you want to do some work for the black community because it's in such a shambles. And then eventually you realize, oh shit, this ain't it. And then you just dump all of the black community. But it's different for me for a pick-me, because these women really work hard to stay at the bottom. They're really working hard to stay up underneath a nigga's feet, even when they are larger than the nigga. And that's what Simone Biles is doing. She's larger than the nigga, and she's working hard to squeeze herself up underneath of his feet. And if black women want to do that, like, we really just have to just take that L and go, and we have to accept that as black women. And that is something that I have been suffering with, and it's been very, very hard for me to accept from black women, that they want to be under niggas' feet, like really consciously making this decision. It's not like you know, some kind of training that you can consider, and I'm doing air quotes here, that you can consider for the mammy, right? Like, you know, you start learning how to be a mammy at fucking 4 years old. Like, you know that this is your role in Blackistan, and that's a lot of work to get rid of something that you've been doing since you've been 4. You know, you go into schools right now and little girls are already becoming mammies. Like, you know, it's hard work to become 20 something years old and then to realize, oh shit, I gotta throw all this shit away, right? But a pick me to just be so fucking stupid, to be in spaces that males are. It's just like these males that literally hate us and like eating out of their ass. It just is like, what are you even doing there? Like Simone Biles, what are you even doing underneath of this nigga feet? It went on to see like black American women are a gem that this earth does not deserve. Like, really. But black American women, one thing we're going to do is scour the internet to get some receipts. The black women find that his real type is white women. Like, Simone, you're not even close. You know what I'm saying? Like, Simone, you're not even close to what this nigga really likes. You know what I'm saying? And here she is, you know, grinning and skinning, looking like a fucking fool, still representing our image. And one of the things that I shared on my Facebook page was that I something about Simone Biles always rubbed me the wrong way. And me and my daughter, you know, cycle through my thoughts as I'm sharing this with her, because I shared with my daughter what was happening. She was like, oh, she canceled, right? That was her exact words. Oh, she canceled. When she found out, when Puddin found out that she was liking the comments of the nigga saying that we was bitter and miserable. She's like, oh, she canceled. But I told her that I'd never really felt a good way about Simone Biles. And we're cycling through it, and what we concluded and what I grasped was, I didn't like how she treated Gabby Douglas. I didn't like how, and I was in, what I also shared on my Facebook was like, if you knew my old Facebook, like I was fighting I was whipping black women asses on Facebook for Gabby Douglas hair. Like, I hated to see I hate to see black women tear young black girls apart. Like, even just recently, I was, you caught me on the internet, you know, fighting for the life of Blue Ivy and black women saying that she can't dance. Like, it's just something that irritates me. Like, leave a holy thing holy. You know, when we're talking about young black girls, let us leave. How dare we talk about something that is so sacred? A true holy thing in this realm is black girls. And here we are as their mothers. Here we are as their older sisters. Here we are as women that they are looking up to, who should be shielding and protecting them. And we are jumping in on the destruction of them. And I don't give a fuck that it was Blue Ivy and that's Beyonce's daughter. Blue Ivy is clearly and undeniably a black girl and represents the image of black girls. Okay? And as I saw her getting beat up by black women on the internet talking about she can't dance, like, I wanted to fight everybody. I wanted to fight. And the same thing happened with Gabby Douglas. So I went through that whole thing. What was that, in 2016? But damn, 2016 was a year. So I went through that whole thing in 2016, like fighting for Gabby Douglas, Gabby Douglas' life. And then I just saw her and Simone together and just saw how like affectionate, like how, you know, Simone didn't really want to be around her. You know, she made better friends with the girl Allie, the white girl, and I didn't like her for it. I'm gonna be honest. I'll be honest, like, I kept my mouth closed and I talked about Gabby, but I really didn't have much to say about Simone back then. And here we are today, and I'm realizing, oh, she doesn't really like black women. Oh, okay, I get it. She doesn't really like black women. And then this is that L that has been hard for me to the process. Like, the thought that black women don't really like black women. Like, what the fuck? And I don't even mean like individual black men, women. I mean like the collective of black women. Like, you really don't like being a black woman. Like, you wish that you could get out of your skin and not be associated with us kind. Like, yeah, you are L that I gotta take and I gotta leave your ass and go. And I gotta accept that you're getting left. And it's been something that's been hard for me to accept. So, yeah, Simone Biles is another L that I gotta accept and put that L in my pocketbook and just go. So anyhow, when we get on to, I also want to talk about the color purple, because I made a post last night about the color purple because I just see all this dragging of the color purple, and not even only on YouTube, although it's happening on YouTube, right? But like on Facebook. On Twitter, like, black women just dragging the shit out of, and not even like BWE women or quote divested women, which I've kind of figured out why divested women don't like the color purple, and it's because divested women don't like being black. Then I said it. All right. So it's because divested black women don't really like being black for the most part. Like, that's why you always hear them in spaces, talking about how they never did black people things. And, they never, I never like, twerked in my life. Like, I don't even know how to twerk, like, you hear these things from them. That's just like, girl, if you don't like being a black girl, just say that. It's the hottest thing in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Ain't a damn thing better in this realm. And if you don't like being one, God has blessed you in this realm to be one, and you don't want to be one, like, just say that. Like, we don't gotta go all over and try to figure out why you say the things you say. And I realized, okay, the reason why the divested women don't really like the color purple, they don't really like the association with being a black woman. And that's why when I watch something like the color purple, and I watched the color purple just like 2 nights ago with Puddin', because she hadn't seen it, and the new color purple is coming out, and she like, let's watch the old one. And I'm seeing it with these these new eyes that I have, these extremely black American woman centered eyes that I have. Like, I don't when I tell you I don't give a fuck about nothing else going this realm. Like, if y'all want to ask me, like, why I don't speak about this and why I don't give a fuck. That's why. I don't give not one solid fuck about nothing else that's going on in this realm outside of black American women. I'm being honest with y'all. Y'all don't have to ask me about the genocide of this people and that people and all these people. I don't give a fuck. Only genocide I care about is the one that's happening right here on American soil, and that's the genocide of black American women. Okay? And that's where I am right now in my life. And that's probably where I'm going to live and die. Okay? So anyhow, when I'm watching The Color Purple, that's all I see is black women and the sisterhood in that movie, and how black women showed up for black women over and over and over again. I'm like bawling tears, crying at every single scene. Like, the scene where Suge Avery is loving, whether it be a lesbian scene. And I know y'all already think that I'm a lesbian, but I'm not a lesbian. I'm telling y'all that now. I'm not a lesbian. But anyhow, the scene where Suge Avery is loving on Celie, like, I'm just like, I'm snotting tears. Like, my face is all red. Puddin' looking at me like, Ma, are you okay? And it's just like, and I just started like, I'm trying to explain to her, I'm like, nobody loved her since Nettie, right? And it's just, to me, in my very black American woman-centered eyes, I could not help but to not miss how black American women in that movie just showed up for each other time after time. When Celie is inside the store after Miss Sophia comes out of gets released from jail, and she's taking care of the mayor's wife. I forgot what her name is, and she gives her that long list, and Sophia can't even hardly read it, and Celie just takes the note from her hand and just she was feeling mighty bad that day. She was feeling mighty bad, and there was Celie to brighten up her day. And I remember days where I was feeling mighty fucking bad, damn it, and it was a black woman who lightened up my day. And for me, this has happened in my real life. I've shared how these moments have really happened in my real life, like in raising my daughter, especially how black women who didn't have to give a fuck gave a fuck. Like, real shit. Black women that did not have to give a fuck, had no vested interest in giving a fuck, gave a fuck about me and my daughter. So when I see the sisterhood for black women, I know that it's real and that black women truly love and support each other. Because not only am I a black woman who have loved and supported other black women, but I'm a black woman who has been loved and supported by total strangers in my life. And those total strangers were always black women. Anyhow, because I'm thinking that divested black women can't really relate to that, that's why they miss it. But I'm seeing all over Twitter, I'm seeing all over Facebook, like regular unassuming black women trashing The Color Purple, and I'm just like, what is going on? Why are y'all trashing our mother's work? What did Alice Walker do to y'all? Right? Like, what did Alice Walker do to black women to have black women do this to her work? Okay? So yeah, that's also been going on. So let's get in all of that being said. I just wanted to get all that off my chest. And let's get into this acceptance and how we accept this L that we must take, and we must go with it. Also, in the description box will be the blog that I wrote in connection to this, where I talk about how we have to accept the unfathomable. And that's really what's happening. Black American women are forced to accept the unfathomable. This is crazy. This is crazy that this is how we exist. It is crazy that this is what we have to accept as a woman in a patriarchal society. Although we may be matriarchal women, we live in a patriarchal society. And to know and understand that this is how we existing is a hard fucking swallow. It's a hard fucking swallow for us. And I don't have, to be honest, I don't have all the answers. Is why I, of course, am creating this Patreon, and it's called A Soft Landing, because as we realize that this is something that we have to accept, like, I need to, like, take a deep breath. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to just relax for a minute and just have a soft landing somewhere where I can just be safe and just feel all the ways that I feel. And I think that all black women who are here have to have that space where we can all just, like, relax. I don't know, like, fix some mimosas and just feel how we feel. Because this is we have to accept the unacceptable. And the unacceptable is let me not say unacceptable, because we have to accept it. The unfathomable is being a woman alone in a patriarchal society. Like, what even is that? And what we have to know is, as matriarchal women, we've been here before. We have it in us to be who the fuck we are. And that is true matriarchal and matrilineal women. And I think that that's the difference. And the mothers of daughters, or just the mothers of everybody, and the mothers of sons, the difference is the being both of those women who I said are big bitches, right? And I be one, right? They're both matriarchal, but they are not both matrilineal. And as for us who are matrilineal, here we are, a matriarchal and matrilineal woman living inside of a patriarchal society, and we have to accept it and live in it. And black women, that is just where we are. Like, I mean, that's just where we are. It's a hard thing to accept. It's a hard thing to accept that there are no males in this patriarchal society who is going to be supportive of us, that, you know, that is of our own likeness, right? That we can maneuver and we can finagle and we can, you know, figure out our ways through this patriarchal society and get some support and get some work and get some service out of males who don't look like us. But the odds of you getting work out of males who do look like you is close to none. None. and at this point in our existence, when it's close to none, we have to live as if it is none. We have to live as if it is none. We have to make up our minds that there will be no support from any male that looks like you. My daughter was just now, you know, she comes home and I'm listening to her talk, and I'm like, how the fuck does my baby accept this? And she's talking about a friend, but then I thought, how the fuck does this little girl accept this? And her friend is on speakerphone. Her friend is on speakerphone with her brother, so they're all inside of their dorm, their apartment, and the friend is on speakerphone with her brother, and she just tells them like, oh, he don't like black girls, right? And that's cool. You know, them little nigglets don't like black girls, and we cool with that, right? And this is a high school student. This is a sweet little thun in high school, right? And he goes on to tell her that he does not like, to tell them that he does not. Now they're listening in, but he's talking to his sister, right? This is his sister. And he tells her that he don't like black girls. They too loud, they ratchet, they, you know, nappy headed hoes, you know, basically. And she goes on to say, well, damn, what you think about me and mommy? And he goes on to say, well, mommy light skinned, right? Now he says this to the girl. The girl is not light skinned. Well, mommy light skinned. so mommy get a free pass. And she's like, so what about me? And he's like, no, you just like the rest of them. And he went on to share with her, and my friends have said that they don't even know you every time they see you because you change your hair all the time. So here they are getting onto her hair. Now this is what he's saying to his sister, right? It used to be a time that a certain black male, and I'll say who it is, because I'm gonna get into this too in the new year. Like the street niggas, like you couldn't mess with their sisters. Like they had sisters, they had cousins, and you couldn't mess with them. Like all the rest of the niggas in the streets, like they knew better than to look at them. Don't say nothing to them. Don't say nothing bad about her. If she got on short shorts, don't look at her ass too long. Like don't play about my sister. So here this little, we have to recircle the word that I want to say, because niggas ain't it no more, right? So here go this little nigga talking about, oh, well, my friends even talk about you, basically. Like, sister, I don't fuck with you and I don't give a fuck about you. And I care about mommy a little bit because mommy's light skinned. But yeah, I even let my homeboys talk about you. Like me and my homeboys talk about you. And I'm saying it used to be a time where that was unheard of. Like, what the fuck? You're not going to talk about my sister. Like, don't say nothing about my sister. Like, keep my sister out of your mouth. But this little nigga is just sitting around with his friends, letting his friends talk about his sister like this. So I asked my daughter, like, what do you think? And she says, oh, well, he was talking, that's their relationship. And I said, well, she lighter than you. She lighter than you, so what do you think about you? And, my daughter, of course, is unfathomable, so she brushes it off. And I said, well, what did the friend think? Right? Because this is what he's saying his own sister. Right? So what does she think? And she's like, oh, that's just how their relationship is. I'm just like, this shit is unbelievable. This shit is unbelievable. This is a 21-year-old girl with a teenage brother that then already just said, basically, bitch, fuck you. I don't give a fuck about you. If any harm comes to you in this realm, I'm not doing shit about it. I'm gonna let my own homeboys harm you with their word if it's just spewing words. But basically, she can know if that homeboy went to fuck her up, her own brother ain't gonna do nothing to protect her. And this is how we exist as black women. I remember sharing, and I shared it on Clubhouse when I asked my own brother, you know, if you had to die or I got raped, which would it be? And he looked me right in my face like, you could live after rape. Like, this is not the standard that the rest of the males on earth live by, and these are the males that we that we are connected to. It's unfathomable. We have to accept the unfathomable, and there is no other way to accept these kinds of things besides being true alchemists. Like, to be a true alchemist and to take, as the good book says, what they meant for your bad and force it to be for your good. And that's just what black males, when we talk about the black community in itself. And when we talk about the black community in itself and how harmful it is to black women and girls, like, it's just unheard of. Like, it's truly unheard of the ways in which this community exists. And when we go on to talk about, and we'll get deeper into these conversations in the new year, but when we go on and talk about how all males are the same, and, you know, this whole conversation that's going on in that, oh, all males are the same, you know, let us all women get together and fight the patriarchy together. I'm looking at white women like, bitch, your patriarchy is an actual patriarchy. Bitch, you are you okay? You know what I'm saying? Like, you have found some protection in this patriarchy where the quote good men realized that it was too many bad men, and as a result he has set some protections for you, some protections that we get to live under, thankfully. Right? Thankfully, we get to live under some of these protections that the white male patriarchs have set in this country. And as a result, these niggas like fled out, busting us over our head, dragging us in the alleys. And actually, they are. Like, how we exist as a black women is just... we must accept it, but it's going to be a hard accept. And I think that the only way that we really begin to truly accept it is if you are in community with black women who are honest about, this is how we exist. And not only is this how we exist, it's unfathomable. And some days when I wake up, sis, it's hurtful. Right? Some days when life knocks me on my ass and there is nothing to fall back on. There's nothing to fall back on. There's no community. There's no collective support in males. And on top of all of this, we are choosing not to form sisterhoods and bonds that are larger than, you know, internet shit. Like, it's nothing to fall back on, sis. It's hurtful. Actually, on top of everything else, it's on top of every other feeling that I feel hurt, and I feel pained, and I feel hurt and pain. That's how I feel. And I want to be honest about it. Just a couple of days in one of my private calls with some of my ladies, we're all in the moment just talking about how black women as a collective exist, because that to be on the internet talking is all great and trying to raise awareness, but at some point black women got to do something, right? So as we're together and we're trying to figure out how to do something, and we're just talking about the collective existence, and not us personally, although us personally too, but us personally, but just the collective existence of black women. We're going on about it, and we're just getting this overall feeling of hopelessness. It's me and other ladies on the call, and we're just going on. Everybody's just throwing in, listen, this is what the fuck is happening, and then on top of this is this, and then on top of this is this, and it's just like, what the fuck do we do? What the fuck do we do? And it's just this overwhelming feeling of hopelessness in that moment. And at this moment, I had my niece, and I look over her. She is 5 years old, and she's 5 years old. So here's this feeling of hopelessness covering us. Like, ain't shit we can do. Like, let us live our own individual lives as black women, and let our 70+10 hurry up and come and go, so we can just transition the fuck up out of this miserable fucking existence, right? And this is how a lot of black women are feeling, right? If you hit on over the RWS channel right now, that's how the fuck black women are feeling, okay? So in the moment, I look over, Goddess is who she is, and I just looked over at my niece, and here she is with a coloring book, not coloring, got her toes in her mouth, trying to bite her toenail, just as carefree as she wants to be. Just as carefree, not giving a fuck. The weight of the world is not on her back. And in her is a hope that somehow, or not even a hope, is an expectation that somehow some black woman is going to give a fuck enough about her to do something about it now. To do something about it now, for us right now to begin to accept that this is how it is, so that we can let her know that this is how it is, and you have to maneuver your life in a different way to be happy, to have a joyful and a glorious life. And she's only 5 years old, right? And she's her expectation for me, when I looked at her expectation was, Preme, you have to do something. Like, to know that at one day she's going to be, in her mid-30s, and if she is still feeling the same way that we are feeling as a collective of women right now, like if she's still having these conversations that we are having right now, and it's been no fucking progress, it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable that we do not accept what the fuck is happening right now, and we figure out what we must do to live a life worthwhile. To live a life worthwhile. It's something that we have got to figure out as black women, right? In these unfathomable circumstances, in this unfathomable existence, to get on to just live out our 70+10 or however long we live and just die is no. That's not who we are, and that's not who we have ever been as a women. So now that we know that we must take our L and go, let us just take it. Let us just take our L's, put them in our pocketbook, as I've said, and let us figure out how to transform those L's into something grand. And one of the L's that I realized that we must take, as I've mentioned, my little nephew, auntie sweet little baby, I think I might have shared it here, but let me share it. My nephew said they're black girls, and at this time he was like 12. Black girls loud and ghetto and ratchet, and he don't like us no more. He doesn't like the black woman collective or the black girl collective. They loud, they ghetto, and he don't like them. And what he ended up doing was dating a Latina. And him and the Latina ended up, being grown-ups and did their grown-up thing. And he recorded it and shared them around the school. I may have shared this. And at first I felt guilty about it. He ain't my fucking son. But he's my nephew. And I'm just like, that's just wow. Like, what a fucking, word that rhymes with grape. Like, wow, my own nephew, right? And what I ended up concluding was, at least it was not a black girl. Right? And as I said, I listened to SZA's album. And SZA has a song on her album that's called Far. And the beginning of the song goes like this, and it says that she's like, I'm having a lot of rejection. I'm feeling a lot of rejection right now in my life. Everywhere I look, I'm feeling rejection, and how do I deal with it? And it's a white male's voice that responds. He says, oh, that's good. If nobody wants you, then you're free. And I liken that to these little middle school girls that my nephew, of course, said was, black and ugly and ghetto and ratchet. Baby girl, because he does not want you, he's going to go over to the Latinas and he's going to terrorize them, and you are free. And that is really how black women have to exist now. We are free. We don't have any expectations from anybody. May it be good. Let it be good. As you go over to RWS channel and she says, don't nobody want black women. Well, I'm sorry. No, that's not what she says. What she says is that because we don't want black males, then it's no one else. Because, we need to not, be with non-black men, and we can talk about that on another end. But the fact that we're deciding we don't want to be with black males, then there are no expectations. We get to be free women. We get to do what we want to do without the expectation of them or any thought that we have to fit into any boxes that niggas want to put us in. We are free. If no one wants us, if the niggas are going to fake be online saying that we ain't shit, and we have no charge to no other male. If we did have a charge to a male, then it was black males. And since they've gone all over the internet and trashed our name and said we wasn't shit, then we have no other charge to no other male in this fucking patriarchy. We are completely free women. And let us live like that. There can be an entire... I had to plug up. I was going dead, y'all. But anyhow, there can be an entire black girl renaissance based on the fact that, all right, the little niggas in school are deciding they don't like black girls. Black girls think it's their rejection. They're being rejected. And if they are being rejected, then they're free. They're free. And... what we have to know in our taking our L's and going is that because we have just taken our L's and we've gone, now we are free. We have no obligation to anyone in this realm, not even our dirty ass sons. Not even our dirty ass sons who have decided, basically fuck our image and we ain't shit. I don't owe you shit either. You know what I'm saying? Like, let us just go as black women. Let us take our L. Let us accept what is as we accept what is, right? Because every week, for me, as I tried to make this grief series, it was another thing like that I had to accept. It was another issue. It was another event. It was another occurrence. And current events that was happening that was just, to me, like, what the fuck is happening? Like, what really is happening currently? Simone Biles, like, and Biles, by the way, sound like shit to me, by the way. As someone, I'll just let y'all know, as someone who works in the medical field, Biles sound like shit to me, So, as I had to, have Simone Biles be one of the things that I had to, one of the L's that I had to take, I can be grateful for Dominique Dawes, right? She's from Maryland anyway, so, I could be grateful for Dominique Dawes. I could be grateful for Gabby Douglas, who I've always loved, right? And I could just accept Simone Biles. It's like I'm saying Biles now, but look, I could just accept Simone as she is and just move on. And that is what we have to do as the black women. And if it is too hard for us to accept these things alone, and I know that it is, right? That is the part. That is the part that we cannot accept this alone, right? It feels a little bit more easier. It was some study about people who were going through or it was about a test. And it was if people, I think it was med school students, right? So med school students, they wanted each other to all succeed, but they found comfort in the fact as they failed that someone else failed with them. And not saying that we are failing, but the feelings that's associated with failing and having to take our L, and the feeling that this is a loss for us, knowing that you're not feeling this alone, it does offer some comfort. So when you're on, and I just want to say to any other content creator that may listen to my content, your lies are causing alienation for Black women. Your constant lies about how you don't like this Black woman thing, and you don't like this Black woman thing, and when Black women do this you don't like it, and when Black people do this you don't like it, it's causing an alienation from your audience and the ladies who are in support of you, and especially the ladies that you want to be in community with. You're not being authentic. You're not being transparent about some things. And I'm not talking about get up on here and give your name, your address, and all your personal details, but to say that you have some things in common with Black women, the Black woman collective, is a reassurance from other Black women that when they take this L, as they feel this L, as they have to accept this L, that they are not having to accept it alone. And it's not right. Like, to be honest, if you put yourself in a position to, let's call it, to quote, lead Black women, then you do owe Black women some level of transparency and not being fucking fake. Moving on into the new year. You owe Black women, if you're going to be the voice of a Black woman and have a Black woman collective looking for you, you owe Black women some level of transparency and some level of truth. To be identifiable. Because I'm telling y'all act too Black to not know no Black shit. Okay? Y'all act too Black to not know no Black shit. Alright? Y'all acting really fucking, urban Black woman to not know no fucking urban Black women. I'm just telling y'all. As an urban Black woman, as a quote urban Black woman, y'all looking really recognizable to me. Like, I could have saw y'all on any streets that I was on 10 years ago. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And although I have the cognizance to realize that you're fucking lying, some Black women don't. And for those Black women, like, come on now. Do us one better. Be better to us, okay? So, I that's it. Black women, we accept this L and we go, and we accept it by figuring it out together. Like, where do we go from here? When I spoke about this Black girl renaissance with some of the other ladies that I was talking to, and I said, well, since the girls in school are being rejected by they're being rejected younger and younger. So in middle school, they're being rejected by these, little niggas. They being rejected by these little niggas and being, and I know this because my nephew is a rejecter, right? My nephew is a rejecter. So, he's rejecting little Black girls as we speak. And as these little girls are being rejected, like, what they can do is they can begin to, again, focus on their studies as little Black girls. Right? Let little Black girls get into STEM. Let little Black girls get into medicine. Let little Black girls get into the sciences and the things that literally change the world, as the world needs changing. Let Black women, as the world transitions, let Black women, let Black girls literally be on the transition team. And we get on the transition team by not having these males in our way. Again, as I said so many times, what they thought was for our bad was actually for our good. Okay? So as we accept that this is how we exist, we have to figure out a new way to live. We have to figure out a new way to live as Black women. And it's a way as ancient as time, as old as time. As old as time. There are Black women who don't agree that Black women were here alone. Listen, What I have concluded for the black women who don't agree to that, and my daughter is one of them, like, she's like, scientifically, I can't, you know, I can't. She found comfort in other women saying, like, scientifically, Preme, this is not, it's just not, it's not possible. And what I've concluded is with any person who is more spiritual, science don't gotta confirm what the fuck I said, because I fucking know, right? So we've been here before alone, and we can be here again alone. We can be a women alone. We have done it before. To be honest, that is our true nature. That is our true nature, to be alone. To be a collective of women alone. That is our true nature. So trust me, we can revert back to that. So when I don't have all the answers of how we accept it, how we feel, what I do know is being a woman alone is as natural as breathing to black women. That is something that we can do. If the world has decided, when we talk about the larger society has decided that, Black American women are of no use, we can show you how we are not of no use. We can be who the fuck we are, a women alone, and none of y'all can eat off of us. So that's really all I have on my acceptance video. We have to take some of those L's, and as a true alchemist, we have to use those L's and turn those L's into things that turn those losses into things that sustain us as black women. Is where we are. And I hope you ladies enjoyed this video. I hope that this acceptance video was enough, because as I said, there are some things that I'm working on accepting. And there's some things that we have to work on accepting together. Because it's for us to be in community. When my daughter's home, which is another reason why I don't really be here, when she's home and we talking, and her views are her own and mine are mine, but as we're talking about the way that black women exist, we do come to some conclusions together. Of course, when I'm in my Discord space and we're having our calls and we're talking as a black woman, together, we come up with conclusions that I just cannot get to on my own. Some fragments of the puzzle is missing when it's just me. So accepting this loss, and taking our L and go, some of it we're going to have to do together. Some of it we're going to have to figure out together. That's that. That's all I got, ladies. Love you, ladies. Again, I hope that you enjoyed your Christmas holiday, and I hope that you all are planning a beautiful New Year celebration. This video, it looks like it's gonna be like 58 minutes. So what you do is you just it's the end of it now, but I'll put it in like the description box. Like, play this while you're getting dressed to go out for the New Year's. If you're going out, be careful. Be careful. Everybody's going out. Everybody's going out for New Year's. I'm not alienating black women and saying that, black women can't go out. No, Caucasians are going out. The Asians are going out. Everybody's going out to celebrate New Year's, okay? We get to do some things that everybody else do. I know that, everybody pretends like, I don't do none of that shit. Everybody fucking celebrates the New Year's, okay? So anyhow, as you're getting ready and you're getting dolled up and you're getting dressed to go out and celebrate the New Year's, you can play this video. And, be safe, ladies, and enjoy your New Year holiday.